Namaste, Vanakkam, 반갑습니다. 안녕하십니까? It's very difficult to describe. My role as the ambassador is one to lead my team at the embassy, find ways of explaining India and building confidence and respect, excitement about India amongst the people of Korea. At the same time, coming up with new ideas and new ways in which we can connect the two governments. So there is the government angle, finding ways in which our economic and trade relations can grow. So that's the business angle. Finding ways in which you can build the cultural connections and the people-to-people connections, and that's the popular angle. And I guess these are the three elements that the two governments have agreed upon, which is why we have people, peace, prosperity for the future. And that is the vision statement that we have. So it's a bridging role. I guess that is how I would describe it. You know, every day is different. That is what I would say is the aspect of life as not just as an ambassador, as a diplomat, which makes it so interesting and so exciting. Is that no one day is the same as the next, and even within the same day, in the morning you could be doing something very deep and strategic. Then the next minute you could be doing something really lively and light, like attending a K-pop concert. So that has been the most, I guess, the most memorable part of life as an ambassador. Yeah, I would identify as my biggest challenge in working here in Korea, my complete failure to learn Korean. I'm really sad about it. When I came, I really wanted to, and in fact I put quite a lot of effort into learning. I wasn't able to give enough time. So now I have reconciled myself to working with the help of my very good team of interpreters. And so yeah, if there is one regret and one challenge that I face, it is my inability to learn your beautiful language. For people wanting to learn, Korean people wanting to learn Hindi, for example, the script like Korean, where it is very phonetic, right? The way you write it is how you pronounce it. Similarly, whether it is Hindi or whether it is Tamil or many of the other Indian languages, they're very phonetic. So if you're able to read it, you'll be able to pronounce it correctly. Easy way of accessing the language, that pick up the script first. The other tip that I would give, and this worked for me when I was learning Turkish, is to listen to a lot of radio, local radio, and watch a lot of local movies. So I have done the second because I have watched a few of your films, but I haven't done the first. And I think the reason for that is because my home and my office are very close to each other. Normally radio is when you're sitting in the car. So since I don't have that opportunity, I don't listen to radio. But I have watched some movies, and I guess some phrases I've picked up from that. But it has to be a combination. You have to put in the time and the effort, and you watch the movies and listen to radio, and then your language just grows. Changes in lifestyle. I guess in India I was far more anonymous. I could go out wherever I chose, and nobody would know that I was such and such. One, because I'm Indian, and in India you are just one among many Indians. In Korea, when I am out, then the clothes that I wear, people know that she's a foreigner. I look foreign. So I guess I have identifiable, let me put it that way, than I did when I was in India. In Korea, I think combination of various things. You have your very urbanized city, and you have your mountains which are right there, which are very accessible. You have this beautiful river which runs through the city, and the fantastic citizen areas that have been developed all along, the biking path, the running path, the walking path, the outdoor gyms. So that is these are I think the public spaces have been very beautifully developed in Seoul at least, and it's just the entire infrastructure has been done with an eye to the people, and I think that's fantastic. As far as India is concerned, I would say we are very warm. We love reaching out to people across the world. We have some beautiful places in the country. I don't know the mountains, whether it is the rivers, whether it is the beaches, whether it's island, heritage sites, and our modern architecture. They sit very well together. Perhaps we have not developed our public spaces the way Korea has, but I am sure that over the next 20-30 years, we'll do the same. So yeah. So I hope that I'll be able to take some of these ideas back and also share with the people back home in India that this is how in the same amount of space or in very small amount of space some very useful public infrastructure can be created.
Thank you.
One of my principles has always been never to look too far into the future, because you never know what tomorrow holds. So I would much rather make the most of my present, and hopefully that result in more interesting and exciting and stimulating life as a whole, not just work. After retirement, if there is one thing I am certain of, it is that I will be in India. I will make my life, as a family we will make our life in India. So a few years down the road, when I retire, if you visit India, you will come and see me wherever I am. Through the language, you will really be able to access the country and the people tremendously. Many Indian people are very comfortable in English, but they are very happy when they see a foreigner having made the effort to learn one of the biggest languages in India, which is Hindi. And through Hindi, you will also discover the connections to many other Indian languages. Most of them are derived from the same mother language, which is Sanskrit. So there are words that are in common between Hindi and most of the other Indian languages. I think the only exceptions are one is my mother tongue, which is Tamil, and the other is Malayalam, which also emerged around the same time as Sanskrit. So Hindi allows you to also discover all these other connections with Indian languages, and through those languages you will really discover the Indian people. So yeah, so you will find the incredible discoveries about India. Thank you. 감사합니다. That's a very tough question, Really hard to constrain Indian food, right? There's so much of variety and so much of differences in the ingredients that we use, the techniques of cooking, the spices that we use. Everything is different across in different parts of the country. In Korea, what I have found is that most restaurants, they serve some of the more popular dishes. 2 or 3 that I go to when I want to take some of my Korean friends for Indian food. One is a restaurant which is very close to the embassy. It's called Chakra. Another which is in Myeongdong. It's called the Taj, and I go there also pretty often. And the third is in near the university. It's in Hongdae. It's called Lucky India. So these are the 3 places that I would recommend to my Korean friends. Romba nandri.